There may be instances where the sheet seed definition name that appears in a drop-down box for the drawing seeds is not desired, or perhaps a misspelling has taken place. It is easy to change the names of what we see in this dialog. Let's take a look how.
If we ever wanted to rename what your seed files are called in your name boundary drawing seed selector, let's say you have misspelling or you want to change the naming, all you have to do is go to View, go to your Save Views, select the one that you want to rename it, close. This will not take effect immediately. You will have to restart the product. So if I exit, come back in, go back to the same drop-down selection, now you'll see the revised name. And so if you had a misspelling or want to change it, you still have that option.
We also have the option to rename the drawing in sheet models for better organization. Let's see how we do that.
We can take this renaming even further. For example, we can rename our drawing model. We can rename our sheet model. As we saw earlier, how we could rename our saved views. And so if we look at our model listing here, we can select and rename. Let's say that we don't want this to be scale specific. Maybe we just want this to be for any plan sheet where the user changes the scales. We can set this to plan sheet. Same thing on the sheet model. I'm going to leave the sheet that's in brackets that came by the product alone. I'm just going to change the first portion of the name to sheet. So now it's going to be called plan sheet for the drawing model seed and for the sheet model seed. And just like before, if we go back to the save view, again, we can, just to be consistent, we can rename this one as well.
And lastly, we can even rename the named boundary within the sheet seed definition DGN libraries. Let's take a look and see how we do that.
And lastly, we can even rename the name boundary. So we go to our name boundary manager, expand. Do not expand here, just select it. And then in the properties panel, you can give this a different name. Let's just say that we call it plan sheet here for our name boundary. You don't see the change immediately. You'll have to close this dialog and reopen it again so that it repopulates. And now you'll see the new name boundary name. You can even dig down into each of the sheets within the name boundary group and give those a different name if you would like as well.